Hello, everybody, and welcome today with Muhammad Ahmed, and welcome to my podcast and your podcast, حاجة مفيدة. Today we are having a very special guest, Ram. Hi, Ram.
Hello, hi Mohammed. Thank you for having me here. So it's a pleasure to be here for me. So thanks a lot.
Thank you. Okay, let's begin. As you know, we are talking about technology. Every day we having a guest to having share his experience and his journey in the technology, and also he will talk to us about his career. And if anyone loves his career and love his Rubes, he will teach us or guide us how to begin and how to become in his point, and also what he what he want to be in the future. Okay, let's go to the topic, Ram. Okay,
Sure.
let's begin and tell us about yourself and about your journey and your experience and the beginning. Okay, Mike with you.
Mhm. Sure. Uh, I mean, it's just a normal thing, normal journey as anybody would, whoever has plunged into this domain. So initially, my bachelor's was in electronics, and I have this habit of doing some Arduino-based projects. And one of those fine days where I was dealing with some random Bluetooth communication using this Arduino. Uh, yeah, it was for diagnostics purposes. I was just looking into the communication, and I was using a packet sniffer, and I was looking into the packets just to make sure if the communication is going good. At one point in time, I found some really sensitive values that were popping out in very clear text format. So initially, it was I was taken aback for a second because, I mean, until that point, I really didn't have any knowledge about cybersecurity. So I mean, it's completely out of the blue for me, and I didn't know what's happening then. And I was looking into this stuff, and later I realized that okay, so what if this was the case with some really sensitive data on a bigger stage? Let's assume, right? So in that case, it might be a lot of concern. I mean, I know that there were measures in place already, but for me, it was a complete surprise package that I was looking at this kind of stuff. So from then on, it started for me the journey. So that was one of those scenarios which basically triggered me to dive into this field, and I really wanted to learn more. So I wanted to do some education, masters on this stuff, and really wanted to understand the concepts of the domain because I mean you can do some basic here and there self learning, but I thought there should be some process to learn this. So I wanted to do my masters in this domain, and from there on there were many perspectives, new perspectives, that I saw that okay, it's not just one particular thing called cybersecurity. There are like multiple branches, multiple subdomains that we need to really look into. And I was introduced to this thing called hardware security, which really urged me to, I mean, I got that passion when I was looking into it, when I was dealing with some educational stuff. I mean, not really, real time scenarios then. So that really irked me, and I wanted to do something because I was passionate to learn. I mean, I'm a avid learner of hardware security or be it cybersecurity. So I want to learn new concepts every day because it's a growing field, and cybersecurity is not a concept, right? It's a practice. It's more of process. So it's evolving, and yeah, I mean, from there I switched to like automotive security. So currently, I'm a cybersecurity certification specialist in one of those security consultancies in the Netherlands, where we closely work with the customers and to make them achieve compliance for their automotive and industrial systems. So automotive security is really like close to my heart, and whatever concepts that I have learned so far in hardware or embedded cybersecurity, I really want to apply that in this field. So yeah, that is pretty much my I mean journey or background, whatever we can say. So yeah.
Perfect. Okay. Let us give something, because cybersecurity and the concept of information security as a topic is very big, and it's we have many specialists, and my my people is beginner. Okay, we are talking to a beginner, so we need to tell you're a specialist, or your job role, because hardware security is not familiar to us. So
Yep.
it's like taking care of firewalls or something like this, or you are taking of it's like a camera, CCTV, and secures the data room, and secures the building. I don't know. So we need to know exactly this job role, and if it a lot of people work your job role or your job description, or it's a very special thing, and it's not familiar with or job role in many countries. Because as you
Yes.
know, we are having already cybersecurity specialists, but as you know, all of us taking care of everything, so we don't have this specialist. Because of that, I need to be more detailed, and from the scratch. So need to be more description about your job role.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, it's so currently it's more of automotive security than hardware security. But when it comes to some customers that whose system are like, if they want their systems to be hardware secure, in the sense that I mean, whenever you take a system, right, it's hardware and software together, right? So
Yeah.
I mean, you can deal with the application level stuff. I mean, whatever you mentioned, the firewalls, and you can go one level deeper into the operating system levels. And if you go one more level deeper, there lies the hardware, right? So it can be any kind of security on the hardware. So if the hardware itself is stolen by some random guy, right, or one of the attackers, then I don't know. It's a completely an availability issue of the hardware. So when you look at cybersecurity, it's like three things always: C, I, and A. So CIA triad is well known in this field. So it's C stands for confidentiality, and I is integrity, and A is availability. So I mean, whenever you do some threat hunting, right, you always try to do from the CIA perspective. So one of those examples that I mentioned was the availability issue. Or the thing is that you have a hardware and there is a software that runs on it. And if the attacker manages to mess with the software, say if the attacker manipulates the software in some or the other way, for example, in the automotive system, right? So take a car, for example. So nowadays, a car is not a car anymore. It's a bunch of computers inside a car, right? So there are like multiple chips there and a lot of ECUs there. So every ECU is a computer, according to me. So every car that comes out today, right, it's like 50 or 100 ECUs per car. So it's like 50 to 100 computers inside a car. And those computers are basically connected to the external world, and that really will bring you to make it secure for sure. Because if there is something that is connected to the external world, right, so you cannot trust the external network, for instance. I mean, so that is a given. In this case, I mean, you just take the one of those ECUs, one of those computers, and you have a software and a hardware, let's say, and that hardware basically runs the software. And if you mess with the software, and if it's like really related to automotive stuff I'm talking about, it can mess with the safety of the vehicle and the driver and the passengers who are all inside the vehicle, right? So that's one of those cases where it really matters. The hardware security really matters. So, for instance, if you put something called I don't know, secure boot, let's say, yeah, just not like a normal boot, but if you're going to put a secure boot, which will basically ensure whatever software that basically pops and runs on your hardware is securely booted. Like if it's like really the software that it has to be run on that hardware and not really random software that the attacker injects. So I mean, there is a lot of those things. You can just extract the firmware out of the hardware in that case. So if you put an encryption or something like that on the hardware, then it's like really difficult for the attacker to understand the firmware that runs on the hardware. So there are like multiple different perspectives when it comes to hardware security. So I have a bit of experience in this attack called side channel attack or fault injection attack, where you can basically try to understand the power consumption or the electromagnetic consumption of the hardware, and you can basically try to guess the data that goes in. So, I mean, it can be the data, it can be the secret element, key, anything. So it's, if you consider hardware security, you can basically go into different levels, and you can even guess what every gate is doing and how it is behaving. So it is that extensive in this field. I mean, yeah. So whenever I try to assess a system, right, from the hardware perspective, I try to consider most of the hardware security scenarios or the concepts that are currently in place. So yeah, I mean,
Okay.
yeah, it's sometimes it's automotive, sometimes it's industrial, and I really value the safety impact of these systems, and I really don't want anybody to get hurt. That's the whole point. So
No.
yeah.
Okay. You remember the movie of Van Diesel, Fast and Furious? It's a very, very famous movie.
Yeah.
Okay. I think
Which Fast and
about
Furious, because there are a lot of
lot
movies.
of hackers, and
Yeah.
it's the movie later, last three movie of the series. They are
Uh-huh.
talking a lot about the hackers and the hardware attack and
Okay.
traffic lights and the cars and everything has take
Exactly.
control from the system. So this is kind of hardware protection that you do.
I mean, yes, it can be a combination, right? It can be on the hardware level and also on the network level, let's say. So, traffic signal is a bunch of networks that get connected back to the control room. And yeah, the control room basically controls all these different kinds of signals. I mean, you can connect to it remotely and you can mess with it, or you can target a control room. Let's say there is a inside attacker in the control room, and he or she wants to play with it a bit. I don't know, maybe plug in an unauthorized hardware instead of the authorized normal one, and inject some malicious code or some kind of malware, yeah, to completely mess with the system and evade all kinds of detection and protection mechanisms. So I mean, I'm talking about the worst case scenario. So yeah, anything can happen in that case, right? So yeah, I think it would be a combination
Good.
of attacks.
Good. Okay. Let's go to your biggest challenge that you faced before, and how you did you come over it, or it's some problem you face
Yeah.
not solving.
Mhm. So the thing is that I have always seen these kinds of challenges at work as my learnings or future learnings or potential learnings, because uh, I treat cybersecurity as a two-way street, because you try to solve a problem, right? You always get something in return. So for me, it's always been a two-way street. So uh, one of those challenges, right? So in automotive security, there is this regulation that's going on currently that's called R155. And that is basically a regulation for vehicle manufacturers or vehicle component suppliers or vehicle body builders. So the thing is that this particular regulation has a different perspective from for different people. So, for example, if you take the vendors, they have to treat it in a different manner. Suppliers, they have to completely treat it in a different manner. So, it's a complete mess. I mean, I know it's a very young and new standard and regulation. It will eventually get mature. I mean, I'm sure that ISO 27K was like this at one point in time, way back, and now it's like really clear. So this regulation standard will also eventually become clear. But as of now, right, all these vehicle manufacturers and suppliers, they need to get compliant by the mid of this year. I mean, July 2024, and there is a lot of hassle. And since I am in this field, I get a lot of customers based on to rectify these kinds of issues. And some customers, at least, they have the basic understanding of what the standard and the regulation says, and some really don't. So to make them understand and to make to interpret these kinds of regulations and try to convince them and make them understand is actually one of those challenges that I faced recently. And off the top of my mind, yeah, I just wanted to share because this is one of those standards which most of them might not have heard about. So I just wanted to bring that into light. So yeah. Yeah, I mean, but the thing is that after every challenge, right? So you get some learnings and you try to put that into the next project that you work on. That's why I mentioned it as a two-way street. So
This
you
this
will be
experience. Why is experiences come?
exactly. Exactly. So transforming challenges into experiences and learnings has already always been my strategy. So I don't know. It might work sometimes. It might not. But I mean, just take out the positives out of it. That's it. So.
Very good, very good. Okay, let's see if you have a piece of advice, someone give it to you, and
Mm-hmm.
it's make different in your career or something.
Mm-hmm.
Share it with us.
I mean, yeah, there are a lot of advices. Of course, advice is for free, right? So anybody can give you advice. Taking it in and implementing it. I mean, the right ones is always the key. So one of those I can think of is that. I mean, when I was fresh out of college and when I was only thinking from the educational perspective, right? It is completely different in the real time scenario. During my initial days, I was not really aware of that. I was just thinking, so whatever that I have studied, I can basically put that into application. But usually that wouldn't work that way, right? So otherwise it would all be very easy to read and implement, right? So I mean, there are a lot of factors to consider when it comes to an office and a customer setting. So one of those advices for me was to look everything from a different lens. I mean, take multiple vantage points and assess the situation. Look at the bigger picture. Look at the zoomed in picture. Try to correlate all different kinds of parameters, whatever that is applicable, and then take a call. Because that is very important for my domain, right? So I do a lot of threat analysis for my customers for various systems. And if I'm going to look at a particular system only from one particular vantage point, then I might miss out the others. I mean, you can look at the system from one as one, you can assess it from one perspective. I can give my perspective. Any other person can give their perspectives, but the thing is that at the end of the day, you mean I mean, so it's like aggregating those perspectives and try to come up with a better way of assessing it, and you can get a solution in that case pretty easily. Because from my experience, at least, I cannot talk for everybody, but for me, it has really worked out. So yeah.
Yes, very valuable advice because what you see is different than what I see
Exactly.
because we are two different people and we have image in our experience
Exactly.
special I care something you care about some another thing
Mhm.
and that's especially when you have a customer not having your experience in technology and he has a situation so
Mhm.
you solve something and he needs something it's very valuable advice really.
Exactly. Yeah, yeah, yeah. I mean,
Okay.
it's always better to look at it from different lenses. That's one of those things that I learned. I mean, sometimes you can learn it the hard way, but yeah, it's always put that into effect a bit earlier. So, yeah.
Yes. Okay, do you work with team?
I'm sorry?
You work
Pardon?
with team.
Yes, yes. So, I mean, I have both kind of experiences. So, I work as an individual player responsible for a particular thing, and also work in a team. So, I enjoy both. So, it's not that I am very static about one thing. I just try to get into the flow and try to make things happen. So otherwise, it is very difficult
Yeah.
if we are just going to stick onto one thing, right? So
Sure.
yeah,
Sure. Okay. How do you stay motivated? Because when you have
yeah,
some jobs you are getting boring or if you has a problem with your boss or your
yeah.
client or if you fail how you get motivated someone help you or you self motivated.
Uh, okay. I mean, so as I mentioned earlier, right? So it's a huge, humongous domain, cybersecurity. So I mean, it's evolving and growing every day, and I will definitely have something to learn every day. So it's not that I don't have anything else to learn. I mean, it's a huge domain, so that I can think of in such a way that I know only 1% of it. So 1% is like more than what I'm estimating. I think less than 1%, I would say. So I think it's the passion that basically drives me. So I've always been passionate about this field. I mean, right from where I started, right, how I started, where I started. It's always been like I've always been thinking about different kinds of applications in cybersecurity in real time as to how it is implemented and how it can be made more secure. Or yeah, for instance, the hardware security stuff is like evolving every day. There are like a lot of hardware security experts that I've met, and I mean, I've got a lot of insights. I'm not one. I'm just a avid learner in that field, and I'm a huge hardware security enthusiast. So I try to look into a lot of courses and videos online, and also LinkedIn is one of those platforms which has really kept me abreast of the latest trends in these domains and subdomains of security. So that's how I always feel motivated, and I try to read a lot of blogs on LinkedIn, and just follow a lot of people who are like in this domain, and to whom I can relate to easily. So yeah, I mean, those are some pointers that I've been following. So yeah, it has worked out for me pretty well. I mean, yeah, we can drill down further, but it's so basically something has to trigger you and make you push your horizons. That's for me. It's definitely security. So
Yeah.
yeah, that's the motivation. I have my answer in the question itself. So
Yeah, yeah. I think your passion is guide you because the passion
yeah,
give you to love your work and you love your
yeah,
material and getting
exactly.
update and read and be updated. It's a passion. So the
Hmm?
passion will give you the motivation.
Yes,
Yes,
exactly.
perfect, perfect. Okay, okay. Share us if you have one book or podcast or article
Hmm.
to read. So it's regarding your field or your we have benefits if you read it or something.
Okay, yeah, yeah. So, uh, I mean, I have not like read a lot of books in this domain. A few for educational purposes and during my internships or something. But one of those books that I've seen and come across is this book called Security Engineering. It covers every other topic, every little topic in a bit of detail. And I mean, right from the basics, the crypto stuff or the basics of the CIA triad to hardware security, to network security, to communication security. So every other topic will be touched and it will be in a bit of detail. And, it's really good for beginners. When I started out, this book, which would basically look like a pillow, it's that huge, is actually a very good book if you give it a read. So
Security
I've not.
engineering, it's his name, security engineering.
Yes, it's Security Engineering by Ross Anderson, I think.
Okay.
Yes. So I think I used this. I think there are like multiple editions of it. I think I used second edition. And also one of the other things that I usually follow is Schneier on security blog. So there's this person called Bruce Schneier, who's basically one of those security technologists, and I think he was also a professor, a guest lecturer, if I'm not wrong, in one of those Harvard institutions. So I always follow his blog, and uh, one of those blogs had this recommendation, and from there I took that recommendation and looked into this book, and it was I used my university library, and because yeah, it's a huge book, and I used to sit at a library and look into this book and read different concepts of it. I mean, yeah, it's mesmerizing to me. So I can share the book name if you want. I can.
Sure, sure. I will take you all the resources after.
Sure, sure. Yeah. So this is one of those books which will give you a lot of insights, and I mean, if you're like really passionate, right, in this field, then it will definitely take you in.
Yeah.
So there's no stopping. So yeah.
We are not reading book. We are reading MOOC. So it's about courses and about course materials, and
Yes.
I think YouTube channels also. It's if you're
Yeah.
interested to any YouTubers or something.
Yeah, yeah. There are some YouTube channels. I mean, there is this channel from OWASP, who are, that's one huge organization who basically puts out. I don't know if you have heard about OWASP top 10 threats. So it's like, yeah, they are responsible for this. Top 10 threats that are need to be taken care of by different companies and firms and organizations. And OWASP also, I think they have a YouTube channel. So it's a application security project foundation. So I think it's a non-profit foundation, I think. So they really have some amazing stuff in their website. And if somebody would like to perform some, web penetration testing or web application testing on websites, right? They have a nice guideline and test document, whatnot. So everything under one roof, I would say. So I mean, I'm not very much involved into this domain, but for educational purposes, I've used this, and it's definitely very informative. There is no doubt about that. And I think the YouTube channel's name is OWASP Foundation or something. Yeah, I can like gather everything and give it to you, so that we can do. But
Okay.
also, on the other hand, there is this another attack framework and another organization called MITRE, MITRE. So that is also, one of those organizations which basically put out a lot of attack matrices kind of stuff. So they have a database of attacks and make sure that everything is being followed. And I mean, those kind of attacks are basically used from the audit perspectives for the organizations to follow. So if there is an audit, a security audit, right? So there has to be some reference, right? So you cannot go and do audit out of the blue. You have to have some baseline and some reference. So OWASP and MITRE, these kinds of websites will basically guide you as to how to go about it. So I'm just talking on a very high level here. So there are a lot of technical details involved. Just to make sure that this reads even for a layman. Yeah, that's pretty much the idea. So yeah. Yeah, I mean, there are a lot of things. There is also this thing called Cybrary. It offers a lot of training courses. So when someone would like to start off, right? So if one is passion for sure, the other one is, if someone doesn't have any idea, then one of those things is to do some course and take a normal cybersecurity basic course and see how it is, like how relevant it is to what compared to what proficiency they possess. So yeah, that is one of those things as a starting point. I mean, so yeah.
Yeah. Good, very good. Okay. Okay, could you share step-by-step guide or advice for beginner how to become professional in your career, or how to begin, how to start? Because security is a very trendy job, and student especially need to go to security from the end of it. We need to attack. We need to be a hacker. So we need to be advanced in cybersecurity.
Sure.
So I need the true steps that make that startup person have a good path and take it step by step and professional way. And
Sure.
okay.
Sure. So, if anybody who's passionate to dive into this field and learn more stuff, I mean, of course, as I mentioned, passion and drive are the first two things, and after that, it's the solid understanding of the basic concepts, right? So there are a lot of things in cybersecurity, but if you get the basics right, just like any other domain, right? So if you get a nice understanding of algebra, then mathematics is a cakewalk for you. Similar kind of thing. So if you get the solid understanding of the basic concepts, you don't have to worry about the really complex stuff in cybersecurity. That's completely out of the scope when you start. So if the root is good, right, then anything that grows above it, then it's going to have a very strong foundation. That is one of those things. And whatever computer skills or programming skills that's already there with anyone who is wanting to get into this domain, maybe we can add a security flavor to it, because from the programming security perspective, or for example, you have application testing, so you need some coding background for that, like JavaScript or something. So even if you haven't had a chance to understand scripting from a security perspective, think if you have the basic proficiency of any kind of language or tooling, for example, you can always add the security flavor to it. There is no time bound to it. So it can be done anywhere, and anybody can do it, and any time it can be done. So there is no constraint on that. And I mean, if you want to learn new things about operating systems, so for example, I've met people who has been using Linux and Windows, and So if you ask a person who is like really comfortable to work in a Linux environment, right, then it's like really easy for them to catch up. For to the security angle. So because I use a lot of Linux. Personally, I like Linux more than Windows, and I have used Linux before. But before coming into the security domain, I didn't have any idea earlier. So when I started understanding the security concepts, and I was easily doing some scripts on Linux than I could do it in Windows. So it's just an example, anecdote from my side. So that is one of those things. And the other thing is the basic thing is the crypto stuff that I would like to really emphasize here, because the basic crypto stuff is actually the backbone of today's internet cryptography. So that's how it evolved, right? So there are a lot of encryption, decryption mechanisms, but I mean, to understand the very basic of it, you have to like go back a bit and try to get the foundation right. So that is another thing. And I mean, once you get a grip of these basic concepts, right, you can try to take a course, like I mentioned. You can then try to see if you want to do some certifications in this field as well. So, I mean, this is a continuous improvement process. So you cannot make or break the chain. So it has to be from the step one, and you have to follow this process. I mean, you have to worry about the result at some point, but it's always the process that comes first before the result, according to me at least. So, I mean, as long as cybersecurity is concerned, right, it is how it is. So we have to be really wary about the process. Results will come out automatically. So yeah.
Okay, good. Let's sort it some points, because we are taking one example for someone who loves cheating in games, and it's
Mhm.
the start. Needs type some coding to get money in the game, and it's passion creative from there. I think more of our programmers or developers started from this point. They love cheating in video games and creating games
Exactly.
or something like this. So this is the
Yeah.
beginning. But
Yeah.
I need to. What's the first course that you get to, and what's the second course, so we can
I mean,
write a
yeah.
roadmap to be specific.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. I mean, if you want to do some courses, I would strongly suggest Course Era, or you can do it on Allison. That is also one of the websites like I really like about, because they have some really good diversifications. And if it's a basic course, it's a basic course usually. So I mean, it could be a new world of terminologies. It could be a new world of concepts. That particular inhibition shouldn't be there in the back of the mind, so that you can have a clear foreground of whatever that's being shown to you. So I mean, it's a lot more psychological thing during the starting phase, right? So we really have to be like open minded to learn some new stuff. I mean, if you have already learned some stuff and you're going to add some security flavor, it's a different story. It's You have the baselines already. But if you want to start it out from scratch, then you have to go for the very basic stuff, like the CIA thing that I mentioned, and also the basic cryptography related material, basic networking security material, and yeah, it can the next step could also be application security or operating system security. So it's but before all these things, you have to get the concepts right. So in all these domains that I mentioned, it's going to be a lot of applications based on the security. So if you learn CIA perfectly, then you can understand any kind of implementation in any domain of security. So that's pretty much my understanding, and that's what I wanted to share as well. So
Yeah, perfect, perfect. Okay, let's talk about. Can you share us an example of to beginner project? Because
Mhm.
um, everyone need to test his knowledge and test his skills. I remember someday I create my first honeypot and share it in the internet and write the static IP and invite all my friend in LinkedIn to try to attack this honeypot. And
Uh-huh.
after I getting the second job in security, my manager, when he interview me, no, we don't do this in our company, and it's
Okay.
something very exciting,
Okay.
to having like kind of attacks from
Yeah.
everywhere, and you see the sources that they are trying to attack. So you can share with us any project the startup can try it.
Yeah. Yeah, sure. So, just that you brought this honey pots topic, which is really interesting for me. So, did you manage to subvert your friends' machines? I mean, did they take the bait of clicking your link or clicking the server?
Yeah.
Trying. Ah, okay.
I I type my static IP. I have one static IP and I
Mm-hmm.
let it open and
Mm-hmm.
put some software to track the attacks. No data
Mm-hmm.
already in the computer.
Okay.
It
Interesting.
was one, first hour. It's very slow, and I have many attacks, but no one in.
Okay, that's interesting because you have honey pots and honey nets which act as a decoy, and yeah, I mean it's like a bait, right? Attacker's bait. So if they take the bait, then they're in the trap. So that's really nice to hear about honey pots. Yeah. So coming back to your question, so it's I think it's for a beginner uh, kind of project. There are a lot of things. I don't know where to where to start really. So if you really want to understand the web application security, and if you want to play it like in a game-like format or something, I've used this thing called Bug or BWAP, which is like a virtual machine, and you just have to. It's an isolated environment, so you don't have to worry about affecting your host environment. So it's a sandbox thing where you can basically simulate a lot of attacks, right from SQL injection, I mean to LDAP injection, whatever it is, you name it, to remote code execution. So there are a lot of things in that. That would be one of my recommendations. And the other one, maybe, I mean, I'm just trying to think off the top of my mind, and I just want to pick one from every domain. So for web security, this could be one of those things. For network security, if you want to really monitor your network, you can use Wireshark. I mean, yeah, it's a very basic tool. So if you want to look at the Wi-Fi packets of whatever nodes that are connected to your gateway, you can basically monitor that and try to understand what kind of data formats and what kind of protocols are being used, and how every protocol is basically formulated in a real time scenario. Because if you look at the networking chapter of your in the book, it's like an IP packet, and there would be four octets. And I don't know if you see that in real time, it is much more interesting than that. It's not the boring stuff that is in theory. So in practical scenarios, when it comes to implementation, it can also be implemented in some other manner. I mean, yeah, some packets can be encrypted, some cannot be. Some would be just lying down in the plain text. So yeah, I mean, you can explore that. Yeah, there are a lot of protocols involved like TCP, UDP, DNS. So every protocol has its own format. You can compare them. You can filter out some packets that you're interested. I mean, yeah, that is one of those things. Uh, and also from the crypto perspective. So I've made my own. I mean, there are a lot of videos for that. So I try to make my own password manager using Python. I mean, if somebody is really interested in coding, right? So if they want to develop something, but develop something secure, uh, this could be one of those projects. I mean, it's just one project that I try to do it myself. So it was like way back, but yeah. I was not able to integrate every feature. It's just a basic thing. So I've also tried to when I was starting off, right. I've also tried to set up some a private cloud on my own Raspberry Pi device to really store some personal data. If you want to store some personal data or PII, I've tried to set up such kind of things. So yeah, I mean,
Interesting, interesting what you are
yeah,
talking about. Interesting. It's not
yeah,
for
yeah.
beginner. Not for...
Yeah. I mean, you can make it beginner. So when I was starting out, I was trying to really look into this password manager thing that I wanted to store. So it's just like the basic thing is that you should never encrypt the password, but you just have to hash it. I didn't know that then. So, I mean, it's out of a lot of trial and errors that I got to know these kind of things. It's very basic, but I didn't know when I was doing my bachelor's. So it's only when I started using some online materials, and I know a bit of Python, so I can manage to some extent. I'm not a total expert of it. I don't know every other module that's in Python. I mean, yeah, to some extent. You can always refer to Python website or yeah, the handbook, whatever it is. So yeah, those kind of things. I mean, it's really it will give you the sense of it. That's my point. And unless you get your hands dirty, it's you wouldn't be able to get the sense of it. So the only way to start is to get your hands dirty. That has been my philosophy in cybersecurity. So
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah. Sure, sure. And cybersecurity is building on thinking and expectation because, as you know, if everything goes good, there's something wrong.
Yes.
You need to. How you are my brother? I don't know. I'm not sure. This is your picture. I'm not sure.
Yeah.
Everything it's fake. It's fake these days. So
Exactly.
cybersecurity is about thinking, about investigate everything, not believing anything. Social engineering is everywhere now.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, you can put the two-way street principle here. I mean, yeah, it's giving you all the security at the same time. It's not. You can call it a paradox or whatever. But yeah, it is how it is, right? So you can have the world's best encryption algorithm, but if you don't implement it in a really secure way, if there's an implementation issue, right, it all goes down the gutter. So
That's true.
yeah, it depends on the implementation and the strength of security. So it's a combined effort.
Okay. Do you imagine when you be the only cybersecurity manager in your team, your responsibilities and how you take the lead
Uh-huh. So for now, yes. You mean
in the future?
my experiences is
Because
yeah.
I think it's very very different difficult thing.
Yes. I mean, I haven't had the opportunity to gain a managerial experience yet, but I would rather wait for it as of now because I love technical stuff, and if I go into that managerial domain, then I would have to concentrate on the other management stuff, which I would really would like to wait for now because I want to learn more technical stuff in this field. So yeah, I mean, I'm not going to run away from responsibilities in the future, but it's more like the weightage for me on the technical stuff. So maybe to learn a bit more than what I know, and then if I take up such kind of roles, it could help me. That's my thinking. So yeah.
It's very difficult because when I became a IT manager in
Mhm.
2012, I lost
Yeah.
half of my salary because WannaCry ransomware attacked
Okay.
one of our one of our PC. It's not the server, but one of our PC. And
Okay.
I try
Oh,
to tell the owner it's 200 200 200,000 PCs around the world. It's banking and
yes.
hospitals, and it's a very crisis.
Yeah.
So it's big responsibility,
Yeah. Yeah.
I work with IT directors, and I see how you dealing with the team. Maybe he fire someone because
Hmm.
he's bad, and take
Yeah.
difficult decision because it's a big responsibility. You can take it
Yeah.
alone, and you should have charisma and pick
Yeah.
up a very good team.
Exactly. So, I mean, if you talk about ransomwares, right? So it can be stopped at multiple points. It can be evaded at multiple points, but still, there would be some teeny tiny possibility that it happens. And once it happens, after that, then the plan of action, the course of action, everything matters. So, like you say, there has to be some bit of charisma there.
Yeah.
So
I'm talking
when it
about
comes down to this,
11 years ago, 2020. It's like 10 years ago. So
yeah,
it's very new, and no one expect that.
yeah. I think it was in 2017 that it hit, right?
Yeah.
WannaCry hit.
And you
I mean,
told us if you are update the Windows, no one has this this attack.
yeah, 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 sure, sure. So it could be caused by an unaware inside employee who might have clicked on a random link. So yeah, it could happen from there. I mean, if you have a backup, then you don't have to worry about the ransomware encryption at all. So you don't have to pay the ransom. So yeah, it's multiple points. There are security mechanisms, but attacks will be there because the attack surfaces are increasing. The technology is improving. I mean, more technology, more possibilities of attacks. Yeah, that's always been the case. So it's
Attackers study a defensive mechanism, and defenders study attackers
exactly.
mechanism. So it's looping.
Exactly. Yeah, yeah. That's why you have things like penetration testing, where you test your own systems for security weaknesses, right? So, I mean, still it could be exploited. That is the case. So, I mean, there are zero-day attacks for that matter. I mean, that's a different topic, which haven't been public, but it can be exploited using one of your soft spots in the system, namely inside employee, unaware employee. If there is no security awareness, then that is a very nice target for the attacker, right? So yeah, it's we all have that one guy
Yeah.
every time, everywhere. So
Yeah, yeah, sure,
yeah,
sure.
yeah.
Okay. Thank you for your time, and I feel the passion in your voice. So you are one of technology lovers, and you love your job, and I wish you all success.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much again for having me here, and it was a nice talk, and I also learned a lot of stuff from you as well. Yeah, thank you so
Thank
much,
you.
and have a nice weekend.